So guys, let me show you something first. I'm not going to explain it yet, just watch. So step one, you need to upload customer complaint data here. So you upload thousands of lines of customer complaint data. Once the data is uploaded, we go to step two. So this executive dashboard will appear. This is based on the logic what you are defined in the Python. You can define whichever charts you want, and based on that, you will get this executive dashboard. Now the next step, which is most important step, which is missing in many legacy softwares. There are many softwares which can analyze the data, which can plot data charts for you, but not the interpretation of the chart. So that is where we are using AI. So when I click here on generate executive AI reasoning, so what is happening? These charts are now talking to AI. So these are talking to big AI models, LLMs, and for each chart there is a verdict. For each chart there is an interpretation. So this is missing in many legacy softwares. And then for executive or CEOs, if they want to see whether the situation is getting better, worsen, so within few bullets, thousands of lines of data, the analysis will be available for you. And the step four, you click on executive report and you get this PDF report which can be downloaded and circulated. So this is just not the executive dashboard. This is the decision intelligence. So what we'll do, we'll see one by one how it works. So what you just saw in first few seconds, it's not a demo trick. It's a real system which I have built to solve a very simple problem. Customer complaint. All the companies, we have customers and they are obviously complaints. How do we handle these customer complaints? So while morning walk, I get an idea because I'm working on trading software. So apart from trading, how we can make use of AI to solve our day-to-day industrial problems. And from then, within 36 hours, I did this POC to just make a demo of how we can make use of AI to solve our day-to-day problems. Where there is a data, we can do data analytics, and based on data analytics, we can make use of the LLMs, the big AI models. They work for you to interpret the data, to reduce your cognitive load based on the data analytics and to make decisions faster, wiser, and effective ones. So in most companies, the customer complaint data exists in huge volume, thousands of rows, customer verbatim in free text, multiple defects, multiple months. So then you know what happens. Someone creates few charts, someone else creates PowerPoint, and still the leadership asks, so what? So you might ask, why not we feed this data directly to ChatGPT and ask to do the analysis? ChatGPT will do that. But there is no guarantee that ChatGPT will consider all the rows, thousands of rows which you uploaded. And there is no guarantee that ChatGPT will use the baseline, the ChatGPT will do the gating, the ChatGPT will tell you whether the situation is getting worse. And that repeatability, that trust is the most important part. And that's why you need a structure. You cannot upload the raw data. From raw data, you have to create a kind of a framework and then you pass it on to ChatGPT. Based on this framework, please do the analysis and tell us whether the situation is getting better, worsen. So that is where we have to use these three steps: raw data, Python dashboard, and then the Python dashboard does the work of talking to ChatGPT. And then in return, you get the output, whichever form you want. So quickly, let's see what AI is doing on individual charts. So we have this customer pain trajectory. So this plots data over the months. So we have the baseline of the last quarter. So it says now the AI, based on this data, what AI is saying, total complaint increased 57% compared to baseline, indicating rising customer issues. Monthly complaint count fluctuate but show upward trend in recent months. So this is quite easy chart. I think anyone can do the analysis, and the same analysis is done by ChatGPT. But then we have also some complex chart, so like severity, tone, pressure. So how do we calculate severity? This is not based on the number. This is based on the customer verbatim. So the ChatGPT scans the verbatim what customers are talking about, and based on that we have defined the average severity and high risk share. So based on that, what we have a verdict from ChatGPT. The transmission and engine defects are highest average severity, so 0.7 to 0.25, and HVAC severity trend is down despite the volume spike. I think this is important. So here we need the attention. So the next one is false comfort detector. So here it says volume and severity indices fluctuate but no divergence flags raised. Recent months show elevated volume and severity indices indicating increased complaint intensity. So here also we need attention from the management. So I think these are the important charts, but it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to interpret the charts, and you can interpret one chart, but now it's difficult to interpret these charts together and how these charts are talking to us. So that is important. So now this heat map. So heat map clearly says that the safety risk. So this is not much, but we have risk with the breakdown and standard and repeat failure categories. So there are repeat failures, and this is important that we have to focus on what are those repeat failures, and we have to find the root cause. So this is important. And this is the most important chart, the risk convergence. So it says top defects show stable posture with no escalation flags. HVAC leads risk score with 0.26, followed by engine and electrical around 0.1. So based on the number of defects and all, the size of this balloon, that indicates whether defects are rising or they are falling down, and also whether they are placed in this chart, whether it's on the right quadrant, left quadrant, right bottom, left bottom. So based on that, the chart DPG does the interpretation and tells us whether the situation is getting worsened or we have to have management attention. And then at the end, you get executive narrative based on all the charts analysis, not just based on one chart or two charts or three charts. We have few more charts here. If you go down, we have this delta accelerating topics, which are the topics which are accelerating, even if sometimes the volume is going down, but the defects are rising. So that is really worst situation. Also, we have the Pareto, which tells us where we have to focus on, which are the most contributing defect, the month over month, how the defects are performing. And at the end, what you see, we have the defect summary of top 10 defects. And here the most important, it's not just highlighting the top 10 defect. Here we are making use of ChatGPT to tell us what are the most likely causes. Like in this case, in the case of HVAC, it says compressor mechanical failure or design flaw consistent with noise and cooling loss. This is one of the potential cause. Maybe this has happened with some other OEM. Maybe this is based on all the data which is available on the internet. Based on that, it just tells us what are the potential causes, like refrigerant leakage or system sealing issue causing cooling degradation, electrical control module faults affecting compressor operation. So it highlights what are the potential likely causes, and based on that, what could be the potential solutions, like comprehensive root cause analysis of compression and refrigerant system failures to be done, supply audit to be done, and so on. So this is kind of a guidance for us to define the next step. And based on all the analysis, at the end, it gives us what is the executive narrative for the management. Why now? The complaint volume surged 57% year to date, with HVAC defect spiking over 227%. So it tells us where management has to focus on. And what leadership do in next 72 hours. Assign cross-functional rapid response team to HVAC, engine and electrical defects. Escalate monitoring of transmission and brake defects due to volume increases. Deploy targeted customer outreach vehicles affected by HVAC. Review warranty claim trends, and so on. So all the actions which are to be done by management, by the leadership, so that also are proposed by AI. So it reduces a lot of cognitive load on the leadership while taking the decisions. So this will help us in really using the data, processing the data in a framework, what we are doing using Python by plotting the charts, and after plotting the chart, make use of AI, LLM models to understand how we interpret these charts together. And based on that, obviously, we also get the top 10 customer information about what are the likely causes, what are the potential solutions, and so on. So it takes into consideration every single thing what we want to, and then based on that, it gives us where to focus, what actions to be taken by the management, and where we have to watch out. So this is quite important, and yeah, not only for quality, we can use this concept for anything. Wherever there is a data, let it be purchase, let it be finance, let it be production. If you want to increase production, there are issues, breakdowns, and all that. And if you're already having data, so you just bring the data, define few charts, and then you ask AI for the interpretation and for the solution, and that will work for you. So here, this is just not that we are talking to ChatGPT. It's just not talking to ChatGPT. We are going one step forward. What we are doing is we are making ChatGPT working for you. So you define the framework and you ask ChatGPT that based on this framework, please do the analysis and please tell us what to do. So this kind of systems will help us in the future to reduce a high amount of cognitive load on the leadership while making some intelligent decisions. and obviously to improve productivity, to improve customer satisfaction, and so on. So this is just a POC based on the idea what I got, and within 36 hours you can see how we can make a use of AI for our day-to-day industrial problems. So the AI is not here to replace decision makers. AI is here to reduce the cognitive overload, to highlight risk at early stages, to force clarity, and to support us in taking better decisions. So this quality POC is just an example, and in future episodes I will show you how we can build similar intelligence system step by step without the coding background, without expensive tools. If this resonates with you, please like and subscribe, and tell me which problem do you want to solve next with the help of AI. Thank you.